Hey everyone, welcome back to Automation. Specifically today is 2021, is January 1st here in the Eastern time zone, exactly. And I figured that it's time that I make the best build of 2021 so far and also compete in Cyclone the Outsider's newest challenge for this year. So yeah, let's go. So the basic gist of this is that there are no rules and you're basically supposed to make the worst cancer you possibly can. And so I figure I'm just gonna go with this body here and we're just gonna go. It's gonna be something I have no idea yet, but I had this bad idea. I want to make this car weigh as much as it possibly can. So my aim is to get 10,000 kilos. I don't know if that's gonna be possible, but I'm gonna try my best. So let's go. So in the pursuit of massive weight, basically I'm going to make the entire car out of steel because that's just how this game works. And it's going to have a ladder chassis as well. You know, I kind of just realized this almost looks like the new Supra, at least right here it looks like the new Supra, but like over here though, it almost resembles a dog's nose. I'm not sure that's intentional. For the sake of this game, all these three steels weigh the same, but I'm just going to go steel. And let's put a front longitudinal. Actually, you know what? Let's make a transverse. I forgot that this is supposed to be bad. And we'll go double leaf springs just for the heck of it, I think. That's gonna make it very, very awkward. Now I'll come back and do the quality later because that's important. It needs to be done right so that the car weighs the most it possibly can. But we are on to the engine. Now I haven't thought about what I want to do for the engine yet. This is going to be transverse, so I think just for the heck of it, we're going to make it front wheel drive. And I'm kind of debating of either making it way underpowered or just like so powerful that it is entirely uncontrollable and does nothing but wheel spin. So there is a great debate going on in my mind at the moment. So keeping in mind that this engine is transverse, I figure that we can probably fit we could fit a V16 in here, potentially. It won't be a very big V16. I say that and there we go with a 7.3 liter V16. That's pretty big. But I mean, that's a little bit too obvious a choice, isn't it? You know what, it's gonna be V16. Transverse V16, basically, I mean, I could make it exactly square. That's not bad at all. Okay, I think in the name of wheel spin, I'm actually going to increase the size of the stroke all the way up because I want to get, well, high stroke means low RPM, which is also going to mean that we could potentially get some good torque out of this, at least theoretically. And I'll make it push rods, even though it's 2020, and I'll make it all out of cast as well. Oh geez, look at that thing, it's a relic. You know, I kind of just decided that I want to make a ridiculous amount of power, so I'm going to turn this up all the way, and we'll have to see how this goes. Okay, I just realized that now we can make it bigger. Currently it's a 9 liter. Let's make it a 9.5 liter, 9.6 liters. That's pretty decent. Okay, there is a very easy way to get a lot of power, and that is to put a massive intercooler on the side of it. Oh my goodness, that is huge. I really like that they've allowed the option to go up to 12,000 horsepower. And a full race turbo. It's nice and clipping through the engine block there, don't worry about it. And we'll up the quality all the way around here. Now, because this engine is very old style, I think I'm going to go quad carbs with a race intake. Oh my goodness. And we'll just put it on ultimate fuel. This is an abomination. I can tell you right now the exhaust diameter is going to need to be massive, and it's not getting any mufflers at all. Yeah, let me quickly adjust the aesthetics before we get to the cooler stuff because I want to see what this will look like with a bit of flair on it. So I'm going to paint the block a fluorescent yellow. Actually, you know what? That doesn't even look bad. Okay, I need to make it worse. Okay, the block is going to be fluorescent orange. The valve cover is going to be chrome, but it'll be like a blue chrome, which doesn't really make any sense. I'm going to make the materials here out of leather. No particular reason. And we'll make the intake manifold out of leather as well. You can tell that it's a little bit on the older side. You know what, heck, I'm gonna make the entire thing leather. Why not? So all of the trim colors are leather colored, and then the block is fluorescent orange, as you would suspect. I'm really curious as to how this looks in the actual car, so I'm going to jump ahead for a second, and we're going to quickly pick a style. Oh no, it's a little bit taller than I thought it was. Okay, I'm going to pick this body style because it actually looks good. And then I believe higher body quality means higher weight, but we'll have to test that. Okay, I've got rid of the hood, and you can see that the engine fits in there flawlessly. Oh yes, there's a lot of room. We could probably put 2 of these in there. 4 carbs right out the hood. Okay, I've got a really good idea for that. Anyway, let's tune the engine before we get too far. I'm actually getting carried away now. And I kind of need to fix this. I might change those leaf springs because this is just too much for me. Okay, so the engine makes 400 horsepower right out of the gate, but I think we can do better than that. Immediately, what we're going to have to do is, well, we're probably going to need to raise up the compression. We're only using 88 octane and we have 100 to work with, so let's get on up there. Quickly checking this, it seems our compressor and our turbines are keeping it down just a little bit. Maybe this is too big. That is a possibility. You know what? It doesn't seem to be. So one of the key things I want to do with this engine is make it so that it actually functions. 939 horsepower is a little bit of a jump from where we were before. That's with a full cam profile. VVT, which I don't think is actually doing much. The intercooler and all that, it's basically just turned up all the way. I was just adjusting these air ratio here to get that perfect, and then we have a bit of a torque mountain up here, which is unfortunately way high up in the RPM. This is not going to be fun to drive at all, but I will test it. I want to make sure that it actually drives at least somewhat. It just has to be absolutely terrible. That's the whole point. It seems like push rods are definitely bringing us down because I can't make the power that I want to make. I'm actually going to go back and change it. With dual overhead cam, it's a lot bigger and it probably isn't going to fit. But that does mean we can get more power. At least I think so. More power is always going to be better. Now it's even more of a mismatch because it's 5-valve dual overhead cam with a carburetor setup on there. Yeah. Okay, you know what? It might also be the carburetors that are bringing us down. I totally forgot about that. Okay, so what we have here is an engine that is not made to rev high, that is revving quite high and making 1050 horsepower, but with some interesting complications, and it's generally not good. I think I might be good with this. I think it might be done. That's a lot of power. A little bit spooky, actually. Keep in mind as well that this car is front-wheel drive. I think that's very important to consider here. It's going to be a little bit bad. Just a little bit. Okay, so remember like 3 seconds ago when I said that I was done with this engine? Well, I've made a couple changes, including reducing the capacity significantly, because now it's the same bore as it was, but now it is a very low stroke, which means it's very high RPM friendly. And then I also have the 5-valve in here, which is very RPM friendly as well. We're still making a cool 1000 horsepower, which is nice, but you may notice that the RPM limit is 12,000, and it still works. So this thing makes peak power somewhere around like 7,000 RPM, but it revs all the way to 12 for no reason at all. I think I've just made something a little bit too good. Sometimes it takes a bit of ingenuity to make it worse, and I think I've done exactly that. I'm still kind of min-maxing the power a little bit. I can probably get just a little bit more here and there, but it's like, it's pretty dialed in. I'm excited. So a V16 with a 12,000 RPM limit and limitless potential in terms of front-wheel drive wheel spin. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Plus the thing is made out of leather, so how could you fault it? It's too beautiful. Okay, this is mildly worrying. I never do this, but it doesn't start in the automatic test. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Okay, we'll think about that later, because for now, I must do some form of styling on this car. I've got a lot of work to do here. This is where it really counts. But yeah, hold on, let me fix that first. That's really bothering me. Okay, so it's been a few minutes. Let me tell you what's happened. I fiddled with the engine a lot more, and I managed to get it up to 1400 horsepower, because more power is always good, and I can't change the suspension without shrinking the engine, because double wishbone or whatever is going to mess with the geometry here, so it's going to have to stay the same in its transverse mode right over top of that axle. It's actually kind of a little bit in front of the axle, which is worrying. You can see clearly that this car is meant to have a transverse, or a longitudinal engine, I mean, not a transverse one, but that's kind of the point of this. It's gotta be shamelessly bad, that's the idea. So I'm gonna make the entire car out of leather. So we got leather, we got, well, that's like a creamy peach colored leather. I don't know, you know what? Let's just make it no shine peach leather all the way around. So all the trim is purple, the convertible top is purple, and the wheels are also going to be purple leather. For no reason in particular, but there you go. That's that's the finished color scheme. Oh jeez. And yes, it is going to be this high. I will try and lower it as much as I can, but we are permanently stuck here for now. So I think part of the fun of doing these like ridiculous cars is that I get to try different techniques that I haven't thought of before. Like I could put these Volkswagen wheels on here just because, and it would fit in with the theme, and then I know what they look like for the future. For the sake of this car, I have no idea though. Let's I need some like wheels that I can work with for now and then change later. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, they're definitely going to be these. The half one side, half the other side wheels. That is perfect. I just have to make them big enough now. That's the big issue. Okay, so we can lower it down just a little bit, which is good. Don't worry about the off-road suspension. I'll come back to that. This build is a little bit all over the place, but so far, so good. And I didn't even morph the body. Okay, so this car has a built-in wide body, which is awesome. And I'm going to take full advantage of that. I'm also going to switch to this body style because I like this one more. It's just more aggressive, and that's kind of what we're going for with this massive nose on the front. Yes, there are some warnings flashing here. Let me just get rid of those so we're not worried about it. And on to the fun part. Let's style this lad up. Okay, that's a start there. That's a very interesting start. Let me get rid of this so it's translucent. Oh no, it really is going to be a nose, isn't it? Oh yes, oh yes. It's really ugly and I've only put one fixture on it. Okay, I have a ton more lights now, lots and lots of mods for lights. I kind of have to decide what I want this to be, don't I? Okay, I really do not know what to think of this so far, but I am mildly afraid. This is horrendous. It's terrible. Okay, the clipping there has definitely got to stop at some point. The best way to fix that is probably just to put on some of this stuff. It doesn't make total sense, but I'm going to do it anyways. And the problem with the leather is I can't see at all what's happening, so I'm just going to have to kind of mold these in there somehow. Hello there. Oh geez. Okay, I'm going to put a badge on it. I can't use these ones because they're not going to go into BeamNG, but I will try some of these other ones, and I'm definitely gonna have to put my own namesake on there, aren't I? I gotta put a little symbol somewhere to remind everybody who made this. I'm just gonna put that there for now so I don't forget. Okay, so there's the face, I mean front of the car. Nothing to worry about there, nothing to see there. It's interesting, I'll say. Very interesting. Most of the stuff is concentrated down low, so I gotta do something up top as well. There are 4 carburetors in there, aren't there? I think we need to show those off somehow. There's gotta be a way. Why yes, of course, we've got cutouts, and there are tons of them. Oh yes, there are a lot of them now. We've got intakes, we've got massive superchargers, lots of different options. So if we're trying to be realistic, that's kind of what we'd be looking at right there. Big superchargers coming out of the front, that is 4 of them stacked on top of each other, and the engine faces that way, so yeah. Maybe that's a little bit too much, just a little bit. Okay, so there's the double look. That's pretty sweet. There's so many cool options here, I don't even know what to choose anymore. Okay, I'm a big fan of this one. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's like we've got extra cylinder heads on there, but it's cool nonetheless. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use 4 of these things for no particular reason, just because I think they're kind of cool. They're not gonna quite line up with the actual car, but that's okay, as long as they're close. Okay, so those are our 4 carburetors represented on the hood. Doesn't make any sense, but it's fine. I'm gonna change that material to be leather as well. I think that just makes a bit more sense. You know, I should probably hit some like normal points of cars before I do anything crazy, because I'm gonna totally forget that it needs door handles, among other things. Okay, one thing I was a bit disappointed about is that the massive intercooler hasn't made it in, so I'm gonna take matters into my own hands and put my own massive intercooler in there. Nobody's actually gonna see it, but it is there, just in case. Okay, so I cut holes in this so it sees through it, just because I wanted to. And that as well, so it's completely see-through, although that doesn't really make any sense. It's kind of cool. Okay, so I added mirrors to it. They're a little bit droopy, but that's kind of the idea. They also stick into the cabin. I totally didn't mean to do that, but it looks kind of funny. Okay, that's better now. They are completely unusable. That's exactly what I want to see. Totally useless and currently floating. Okay, for some reason I am putting a lot of effort into this. It's pretty easy to make a car that's just bad. I mean, I could make these wheels massive or something and then just send it in, but I think it's more fun to make it strategically bad, and bad with a theme. That's where it gets interesting, and that's kind of where we're at. Oh yeah, I am gonna pull out the Super GT kit as I often do, because, well, I love the Super GT kit, but I'm gonna put big side skirts on here because I just feel like I need to. Okay, so I had this really good but also bad idea that I think I'm gonna try to put the exhaust in a really awkward place. My first idea was just to come straight out the back. Like, you know the Devil 16, the car with a massive exhaust? I think I'm gonna try and make it look like that. It kind of looks like a rocket engine. I'm sure that's the point, but yeah, let me give that a try here. I'm gonna have to mold the body around it. This is gonna be weird. Okay, so first thing I've got to do is kind of pick... Actually, I need to cut the body first, don't I? Oh, jeez. Alright, 3D fixtures, don't let me down. We gotta do some cutting here. There's gonna be a lot of cutting, actually. Okay, so there is now a massive hole leading to the interior, basically just made with dog tape and a fitting, I guess you could call it. You can't recolor these, but that's okay. Basically, my idea is I want to make the actual fixture piece first, and then I'm going to kind of modify the car around it. It's not going to be easy. Oh yeah, this car does have dual exhaust, but I'll just put them both in here, and then hopefully it actually works. Hopefully. Okay, so here's my proposal. This is currently coming out pretty decent. Okay, maybe not that decent. Oh my goodness, it actually almost looks like a jet engine. It's sort of working. Okay, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna turn it black, just so it looks a little bit different. And then I'll show you what I've done with the actual exhaust pieces as well. I've just kind of routed them into the side of this, and I'm hoping that that will work, but it's possible that it won't. We'll find out eventually. But there you go, there's a massive exhaust piece coming out the back, and it looks really janky. Okay, because now we have sort of a flight theme going on. That's not really what I intended at the beginning of this, but that's just sort of how it's ended up. So I've got to kind of blend into that a little bit by adding some other stuff, including but not limited to wings. But not in the classic style. I want to keep it nice and slick here. That's the idea. Okay, so I've come up with a very elaborate back end, but it just kind of tries to accentuate the jet engine piece coming out the back. So I hope that works. We'll see. I need to fill out these empty spaces. There's a lot of empty space on here. And still, like I said, I want to put some wings on somehow. Just got to figure out the right context. Or just slap them on for no reason, that also works. Okay, I've just discovered something extremely cool. I knew that I could do this before, but then I kind of forgot about it. But I can cut out a lot of this body just using some of these wing pieces, and then kind of focus in on this jet engine piece to see if that will well, I don't know, make it come out a little bit nicer. It looks really jank right now. I might just leave it. I kind of like it, as weird as that sounds. Okay, so Supreme Jank is here, and it's looking interesting. I'm gonna leave that. I'm actually gonna leave that just because I find it really cool to look at. But I'm gonna try and fill in some of these gaps with other trim pieces, and we'll see how that goes. And then, my goodness, I don't know, am I getting close to the end? I've still got a lot of work to do up here, don't I? Because this is crazy. This also needs to be crazy. I need to do more. Okay, that looks really good. It's kind of an issue, actually. It looks too good. It's way too good. And then if you get rid of the body, you realize that most of it is just, well, it's real. Like, it's actual pieces that I put on there. I have to do this theme on the rest of the car now. It's just too much. It's been, like, taken over. It almost looks like a BMW i8, almost, if you squint hard enough. Okay, crappy leather aside, experimenting on this has been really fun. I've literally spent an hour just setting all this up. But it was worth it. It was totally worth it. Okay, let me screw up the front, put an interior on this, and then, yeah, that might be that. Oh yeah, if you're wondering how I did that, I just used one of these pieces here. Basically, you can put one of them on, and they will destroy your car. That's basically what they do, as you can see. Come on now, get in there. They're basically just very odd-looking cutouts. But I do like to use them for these purposes. Yeah, they can do some weird stuff, definitely. And just for fun, I think I'm going to put one in the door, so you'll actually be able to see the interior from the side, which kind of messed with this a little bit, but I'll get rid of those. There we go. Let's put an interior in this thing. It looks like it's been ripped to shreds. It's a zombie car now. Okay, interior, I got distracted there for a bit. I was trying to add an intake to these vents because I'm not totally pleased with them the way that they are, but I'll come back to that. Oh wait, hold on a sec, what the heck is this? Oh geez, I think I might have just found it. Oh, it's so janky. Oh, but it's so good. Okay, I'm gonna leave that just like that. Now we'll actually do the interior now that all this stuff is sticking out. It's too good. Okay, so I still do have a couple interior mods that I can use. I think I'm just gonna go with kind of just this modern looking dash. I don't think it needs to be super fancy. So we'll just kind of slap that in, just 3D it around and try and make it fit nice. Okay, so you can kind of see the interior. There's a lot of space in the back, but I don't want to add back seats. Maybe I should. There's a lot of room back there. You could probably fit another 2 rows, except there is a jet engine. We'll just pretend that's not there. And then somehow I want to squeak my logo on there. Thank you again, Taft, for making this. So let's quickly just put it in there, right down on that. There we go, my logo is on the car officially. Is that it? You know, it has been an hour and a half. Okay, I gotta fix these. That's simply not gonna work. I gotta fix some of the small details, but other than that, I think it might be done. That's really bad. I really like this though, it's really nice, but then the rest of it, oh geez. And I'm really worried the engine isn't gonna work either, which would be incredibly unfortunate. That just means I'm gonna have to come back and fix it, which I mean, I don't want to do, but if I have to, I will. But overall, enjoy, gift to you, Cyclone the Outsider. This is for you. And also your eyes, everybody else. I apologize in advance. Okay, onto the drivetrain. Now, I did intend for this thing to weigh a ridiculous amount, and it is still absolutely terrible, and you can see in the gearing that it is horrendously bad. It claims it can do 406. Is that actually realistic? 411, 416, 419, 22, 24. Okay, 900 kilometer an hour top speed. You know, somehow I don't think it's actually gonna get there. Alright, I turned the warnings back on because, as you would suspect, wheel spin is a bit of an issue, but I am very curious. It's only 2,000 kilos. Oh no. Okay, now it's 3,000 kilos because I turned down the engine, or the body quality. The thing is that that just means we're going to have smaller rims. So I'm going to ditch the idea of making it as heavy as possible, I guess. Although I really wanted to make it as heavy as possible. Oh man, my ideas are conflicting now. Okay, so there's the delicate balance right there in order for us to continue to have 22-inch rims. We've got 765 and then 285 in the front and the back, which is huge. But I guess that's what you would expect with this car. It kind of needs it. That front end scares me every time I look at it. Every single time. Wheel spin is still an issue. I'm going to switch to semi-slicks. I don't particularly care about cost or anything like that. Our top speed has gone down, as you would likely suspect, but that's good because we can get a little bit more gearing out of it, which is going to lower our wheel spin potentially. If I make it a 7-speed, the wheel spin is actually worse, so I'm just going to keep it at a 4-speed. It's currently a sequential, but I might just go automatic. Okay, fine, a classic manual it is. That makes the most sense. The biggest offender is probably the differentials. I'm going to quickly go here and have the wheels increased by plus 15 because I really want to have really good quality tires so that I can do this. And oh, never mind. They blew again. Graphs are not looking good. I don't particularly care. I just want it to be able to move. That's my goal. And at the moment, it's really struggling with that. I guess I'm gonna have to go for a locker of some kind. Maybe a geared LSD. Yeah, that's a bit better. On to the brakes. They are incredibly weak. I think that would be hilarious. But I'm going to make them movable. I don't think that there's any sort of challenge with this. So I'm just gonna make them big for the sake of being big. On to aerodynamics. So we have uplift on the rear because there's no wing at all, and we have downforce at the front. Doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna go downforce and just see what happens, and then I'll go really, really weak on the front. Oh geez, never mind. Really, really strong on, wow. Yeah, this is not gonna work. Huzzah! We finally have steering and downforce, and okay, the front tires blew again. Come on, game. Well, if it has uplift on both ends, that works out quite well for me, so I'm gonna leave it just like that, and I guess we get more top speed out of it too. Ever so slightly. Interior, I'm gonna take away those back seats because it doesn't actually have any, but it is a handmade luxury hut interior. I don't know why, I just did that. And then we go over here, it's power steering, but it's just very basic hydraulic. I gave it ABS. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't. And then advanced 20 safety because I wanted to make it way more. But overall, it went down in weight again, darn. It might actually be good, that's the problem, like 3,000 kilos. That's not enough, is it? Okay, you know what, I'm going full commitment. We want high quality stuff. We're going for that high quality safety. We're gonna need all of the seats possible, every seat you can get, and the really crappy quality ones. And then we're gonna have to probably increase the brake size as well. The front tires blew out again, but that's just par for the course here. I'm just gonna have to shrink them down in terms of the wheel size because I want this to actually drive. Okay, so I've got it up to a staggering 3,791 kilos. Keep in mind again, it does have 1,400 horsepower, so it should be able to move. Yeah, it's not very efficient. It's not very good, but it does have a jet engine out the back, kind of, which is cool. And is that the only redeeming quality? I think so. Yeah, no, that's literally it. So I think it's time that I took this thing into BeamNG and just gave it a whirl to see if it actually works. I hope it does. The engine testing made me worried there that it wasn't gonna work, but we will find out very soon indeed. All right, let's go. Lady and gentlemen, I have something very important to tell you, and that is that this car is magnificent. I put way too much time into this. I basically spent 2 hours just on the styling, which is far more than I actually spend on my usual creations. So making something that's supposed to be bad, I spent more time on that than making things that I usually do when I'm trying to make them good. So yeah, I was hoping that it would turn out all right. And honestly, I think it turned out a little bit too good. I'm still gonna submit it to the contest, but it's a little bit too good, and let me explain why. So you remember how it didn't start back in the days of automation? Well, it runs just fine in BeamNG. And better yet, the exhaust pipe thing kind of works. Because they're pointed to the side, the exhaust kind of comes out of the lights instead of the hole that I made for them to come out of, but that's okay. I didn't want anything to be behind it. I just kind of wanted it to be dark in there, which it is. If I was going to do it again, I would just turn those slightly inwards and then point them out the side. But I got some excellent news because it still flashes in there real nice. And it has me quite excited. It looks really good when you're moving. That's the main point. So yes, we do have a semi-functional jet engine style exhaust on this car, and I am absolutely going to bring that forward to other different cars that I make. Now, my favorite part about it is that its texture kind of looks like a basketball. It seems like this entire car is just made out of basketball skin, which is not a term I thought I would ever use, but here we are. Just take a look at that texture and let me know what the first thing you think of. It's either the surface of Mars or the surface of a basketball, one of the two. And I gotta say, not only does this car function, like it starts up, it drives surprisingly well, and it's got some wheel spin, as you would likely suspect. The torque curve on this car was horrible, and that's just part of the fun of it. It's also got way too much weight up front, so it's terrible. But other than that, oh geez, this thing rips. Oh yes. Yeah, it goes right into walls. That's basically what it does. But its top speed is 400 kilometers an hour, and because of it having this jet engine, well, obviously that does nothing practically, but it looks cool. It just means that it looks like it's flying. Like this thing could be a desert like speed racer car, just going in a straight line, as long as you don't try and turn, that is, because it really doesn't want to turn like at all. It doesn't turn even when you make it. With the handbrake, it barely does anything. Now, if I spent more time on this car and I tried to polish it and make it really good, I probably could. You can see you can get up to 150 kilometers an hour in first gear. So that's it's a mistake on my part in terms of the gearing. It's way too long, but that's okay. I just think that it's perfect for this challenge, and it's kind of a perfect start to 2021. There's something that's also, well, something that is functionally bad. It's got a lot of bad ideas, but it's also really darn good in some ways. And I'm hoping that, where the heck are those lights coming from? I don't remember putting those in there, but I'm kind of hoping that this thing kind of marks the future of what's going on in this channel. Not so much in terms of making bad cars, but making ones that have a lot of effort put into them, even if they don't turn out right every time. Because this thing could literally fly. It could be a lot better than it is if I made it all-wheel drive and I put a proper front end on it and all that kind of stuff. But the gimmick is definitely here, and it's alive and well. Kind of looks like a spider with these eyes. Oh geez. So for those of you who don't know, Cyclone the Outsider is actually just Canadian Steel. He's rebranded himself and put himself on a new channel. Old channel not being used anymore, this new channel being the one that actually gets posted on. So I figured that it would be a good time to rejoin into one of his contests. I've done this before with the Bugo, but this time making a full video on it as I don't know, I like doing this kind of stuff. I like getting into other people's challenges sometimes. It's definitely fun for me to do, and yeah, there'll definitely be more challenges for me this year as well, so look forward to those. Maybe not this kind of thing, because I could definitely picture some people making some really terrible stuff for it. But yeah, we definitely have some good showcases coming up, and I'm hopeful to continue to participate in other people's as well. You know, I had a secondary idea for this car, and that was I was going to put it as an all-wheel drive car, and then I was going to put it at the maximum front bias, so it would be basically a front-wheel drive car. Just for fun, you know how it goes. Oh, this is not gonna work out well, is it? Oh, brakes! No, we got nothing. Okay, so seeing as we are on the grid map, I think it's pretty important that I attempt a top speed run. Okay, if I could get onto the platform, that would be good. And there we go. Let's go into the abyss and see if it overheats. It definitely does heat up, but I did turn up the cooling airflow a little bit, like more than it would need, so I'm kind of hopeful that it'll at least move forwards enough to get up to 400 k's an hour. It's currently, well, it really doesn't like being that high in the RPM, because if you remember, it actually makes peak power much lower. So yeah, 4 gears was a terrible mistake, and 12,000 RPM for no reason is a beautiful coincidence, because here we go. This thing is gonna hit 400 k's. Oh goodness. Why did it have to be this that does it? 407 kilometers an hour. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it's not even overheating, that's the best part. Oh man. You know, I might have to revisit this thing. I might have to give it a second chance here. It's gonna need a little bit more love, isn't it? Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Let me know what you think of this best build of 2021 so far. And I assure you that more will come. Doesn't have to be this game, it could be other games too. And a lot more Bugo stuff to come as well. It's gonna be good. So yeah, links in the description for Cyclone the Outsider's channel, and also for this challenge video that he put out. If you want to join it, you got to join his Discord, so keep that in mind. But other than that, I think you're pretty much set. And so am I. I'm gonna submit this thing today, which is the day of recording, which is actually still 2020, because I don't make these videos the day of. That'd be a lot of work. Anyway, see you guys again next time. Ooh, that was a sick drift. I just want to give a special thank you to those who have chosen to support this channel into 21. The first, did I say 21? I meant 2021. Letters, words, and things are bad now that it's been 2 hours of this. This car has infected my brain, okay? I'm toast. But we have Overlord, QT Bear, Terry Williams, The Most Random Person, Sick D Cars and Stuff, Paradoxical, G.A. Pope, Davis, The German Dude. Thank you guys for your support. Appreciate you all a lot. I say that every time. It's easy to say, but I really do mean it. And yeah, you guys keep things good on this channel, because I know that there is at least some consistency in the support on here. So yeah, thanks guys. See you again next time. Oh jeez, I got another video coming up this week, I think. Next Saturday. It's a pretty special day for me, but I'll tell you guys about that soon. Yeah, Happy New Year. Again. Oh, please let 21 be better than 20. Oh man, please.